I caught her the night I wasn't supposed to be home. I still remember the heavy click of the front door, the sickening sound of laughter floating down the hallway, and then silence, the kind that crawls under your skin and whispers that something's wrong. Her name was Jessica, my wife. Blonde, dazzling smile, the kind of girl who could talk a priest into sinning. I used to think I won the damn lottery when she said yes. God, what a joke. I dropped my keys on the table, real slow. Listened. Heard the faint thud of footsteps. Muffled voices. Then I smelled it, that cologne. Not mine. Moving like a ghost, I crept toward the bedroom. The door was cracked open just enough. And there they were. Jessica and some guy I'd never seen before, muscles, tattoos, cocky smirk, tangled up together like two horny teenagers who couldn't wait for the world to stop spinning. They weren't even trying to hide. In my house. In my bed. While my goddamn wedding photos sat on the nightstand like some sick joke. My heart didn't break. It detonated. I stood there frozen, fists clenched, blood roaring in my ears. Part of me wanted to rip the door off the hinges. Part of me wanted to walk away and pretend I never saw it. But then she laughed, that shrill, cruel laugh she only used when she was mocking someone. That's when I knew. This wasn't a mistake. This was her. This was who Jessica really was. I backed away before they could see me, my hands shaking. I needed proof. I needed her to burn for this. So I left, got in my truck, drove 2 blocks over and parked in an alley, heart slamming against my ribs like it wanted out. I sat there for an hour, maybe 2, until my knuckles stopped aching from how hard I'd been gripping the steering wheel. The next morning, I installed the hidden cameras. One in the living room, one in the bedroom, one right outside the front door. She never even noticed. Too busy texting God knows who with that smug little smirk on her lips. Over the next week, I built my case. Video after video. Recording after recording. Different guys. Different nights. Sometimes she'd even bring them in while talking to me on the phone, pretending she was helping her sister move, or at yoga class. Lies rolled off her tongue smoother than honey. One night, I watched her on the hidden cam, hair tied back, wearing that blue dress she said she kept, just for me, open the door for a guy who looked old enough to be her father. She giggled, jumped into his arms, and whispered something disgusting right into his ear. I nearly crushed the laptop in my hands. I knew what I had to do. No arguments. No pleading. No second chances. And that's when he showed up. Harold. My stepfather. Red in the face, drunk on self-righteousness, pounding on my door like a man possessed. The second I opened it, he exploded. You're a disgrace. How could you throw your wife and my precious grandchildren out onto the street? You chose her. Now act like a man. Before I could even open my mouth, he spat in my face. That was it. The last straw. I turned around, disappeared into the bedroom, and came back with the file, the paternity test, and the USB drive with all the dirty footage. I tossed the folder onto the coffee table, plugged the USB into the TV. As the screen flickered to life, Harold's eyes widened. I watched his face melt from rage into horror. He knew. And then, I didn't even think. One clean, brutal punch, straight into his jaw. He collapsed like a house of cards. Breathing hard, standing over him, I realized one thing. This wasn't just a betrayal. It was an infestation, running through every damn part of my life. And I was going to burn it all down. I didn't bother cleaning Harold off the floor. Let him rot there for a while, just like the lies he defended. I grabbed my phone, pulled up Jessica's number, and hit call. 2 rings. 3. She picked up, sounding fake sweet, like she hadn't been turning my life into a garbage dump behind my back. Hey, babe, she chirped. Miss me? Get home. Now, I said, voice low, tight. She laughed, actually laughed. Why? Are you lonely without me? Background noise. Music. Guys laughing. She wasn't even pretending anymore. Jessica, I growled. Come. Home. Now. Maybe it was something in my tone. Maybe she felt the ground starting to crack under her stilettos. Either way, she hung up without another word. 15 minutes later, the front door slammed open. There she stood, tight leather skirt, top barely covering anything, makeup smeared like she'd just been on her knees in some club bathroom. What's your problem? She barked, tossing her purse onto the couch. You can't just order me around like some... Then she saw Harold, still unconscious, blood pooling from the corner of his mouth. Her mouth snapped shut. Her eyes darted to the TV, still paused on an image that would make any sane person vomit. Her, bent over our couch. Some guy behind her, face blurred from the speed of it. Her smile, wicked, shameless. She sucked in a breath. Okay, she said, voice calm, hands up like I was the crazy one. Let's not be dramatic. I stepped closer. You're going to explain. Right now. She rolled her eyes. God, you're so sensitive. She actually smirked. Look, you're boring. Always working. Always tired. I needed more. You weren't enough. I just explored a little. Big deal. I swear, my fist twitched. I dug my nails into my palms so hard I left marks. A little. I hissed. You turned my house into a *****ing motel. Jessica shrugged, inspecting her nails like this was all a nuisance to her. Men do it all the time. Don't be such a little b******h about it. That was it. The last mask fell. There was no love. No guilt. No shame. Just a selfish, rotten soul wrapped in pretty skin. I threw the paternity test onto the coffee table. She glanced at it, smirked again. Yeah, so? You really thought they were yours? The room tilted. I had to grab the back of a chair to keep from falling over. Years. Birthdays. Bedtime stories. First steps. All of it. Lies. Those kids I'd fought to protect, worked overtime for, bled for, they weren't even mine. Jessica didn't even blink. You're better off. You were never cut out to be a real man anyway, she spat, grabbing her purse again. I'm going to stay with someone who knows how to treat a woman. Treat? Like that old guy from the video? Like the line of losers who saw her as an easy score? I laughed, a broken, hollow sound. It scared even her for a second. Go, I said, voice raw. Get the hell out. She sauntered to the door, hips swinging like she was walking a red carpet instead of leaving the ruins of a marriage. At the threshold, she turned, flipped her hair, and said, Don't wait up, loser. Then she was gone. I stood there, staring at the empty space she left behind, heart beating against shattered ribs. Everything hurt. Everything burned. But one thing cut deeper than anything else. I still loved the memory of her. And that memory had just been dragged through the dirt, spat on, and left to die. After she left, silence swallowed the apartment whole. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that presses on your chest, sharp and cold, making every breath a chore. I stood there, surrounded by the wreckage. The videos still looping on the TV, flashes of betrayal, flashes of the woman I thought I married, until finally, I grabbed the remote and hurled it across the room. It shattered against the wall, plastic pieces raining down like broken promises. My legs gave out. I collapsed onto the couch, the same couch where she had entertained half the damn city, and buried my face in my hands. Everything hit at once. The lies. The betrayal. The sheer stupidity of believing her for so long. I should have seen it. I did see it. But love blinds you in the cruelest ways. Makes you ignore the late nights, the secretive texts, the fake smiles. I thought about the kids, the ones I thought were mine. How they'd climb onto my lap, call me daddy, look at me like I hung the moon. Now I knew I was just some fool who paid the bills and tucked in another man's offspring. I laughed, bitter and raw, a sound that didn't even sound human. How many times had I fought for her? Defended her? Swallowed my pride to keep her happy? And all along, she was out there, trashing our vows like yesterday's garbage. The hours dragged. At some point, Harold staggered awake, groaning and clutching his jaw. He took one look at me, wild-eyed, broken, and he didn't say a damn word. Just stumbled out the door, not even closing it behind him. Good. One less traitor in my life. The sun started to rise, bleeding weak light through the blinds. I hadn't slept a second. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, smirking, lying, betraying. My phone buzzed on the coffee table. A text from Jessica. No apology. No regret. Just, can you pack up my stuff? I'm moving in with Brad. Brad. So the tattooed piece of trash had a name. Wonderful. My hand shook as I typed back. Your ***T will be on the lawn. Hope Brad likes secondhand goods. I stared at the message for a long time before hitting send. A small, meaningless victory, but it was something. A step. A breath. I needed to get out of that house. The walls felt like they were caving in, trapping me with the ghosts of who we used to be. I threw some clothes into a duffel bag, grabbed my truck keys, and didn't look back. I drove. No destination. No plan. Just the open road, the roar of the engine, and the endless ache hollowing me out from the inside. At some point, I found myself at an old bar on the edge of town. One of those places where no one asks questions, where broken men nurse cheap whiskey and shattered dreams. I sat at the counter, ordered a double, and stared at my reflection in the dirty mirror behind the bottles. I didn't recognize the man staring back. Eyes hollow, jaw clenched tight enough to crack teeth. A man who gave everything to someone who didn't even hesitate to destroy it. I downed the whiskey in one burning gulp. It didn't help. Nothing could touch the cold fury swirling inside me. But sitting there, staring at the wreckage of my life, one thing started to form beneath all the anger and heartbreak. A spark. Small. Fierce. I wasn't going to drown in this. I wasn't going to let Jessica have the final word. She took my love, my trust, my future. Fine. Now I'd take back everything else. Starting with my dignity. I didn't stumble out of that bar like some drunken idiot crying over a woman who never deserved me. No. I walked out steady. Focused. There's a kind of clarity that comes when you lose everything. It burns away the lies. It strips you down to something raw and real. I drove home with a plan forming in my head, sharp, brutal, merciless. Jessica wanted war? She was going to get it. First, I packed up her crap. Everything. Clothes, shoes, jewelry. I paid for all of it went into trash bags. Not folded. Not handled with care. Shoved and smashed like the wreckage it was. I dragged the bags out onto the front lawn. Neighbors peeked through their windows, whispering, "Good. Let them watch. Let the world see Jessica for who she really was." Then I set up the final nail in her coffin. I uploaded the videos, carefully edited, to a private drive. No faces visible except hers. No sound except the occasional pathetic giggle slipping from her mouth as she sold out our marriage for a cheap thrill. One email. Anonymous. Sent straight to her job. Her friends. Her family. No words. No explanations. Just the truth. Let them all see the woman they called Sweet Jessica. Let them choke on it. As I had sinned, my hands didn't even shake. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction. Not regret. Just emptiness. The kind you get when you finally stop pretending that someone was ever worth your loyalty. My phone buzzed again an hour later. It was Jessica. Of course. I stared at the screen, smiling coldly. Desperation tasted sweet when it wasn't mine for once. I let it ring out. Again. And again. Voicemails piling up, each one more hysterical than the last. How could you do this to me? You're ruining my life. This is illegal, you psycho. I'll call the police. I laughed, an ugly, broken sound. Jessica never once apologized. Never once admitted what she did. She wasn't sorry for cheating. She was sorry she got caught. And the best part? I hadn't even started yet. I texted her 2 words. Check the lawn. 5 minutes later, her car screeched up to the curb. She stormed out, still wearing that same cheap outfit from the night before, mascara streaked down her face like a bad soap opera actress. She saw the trash bags. Saw the neighbors staring. Saw the videos blowing up on social media. Her face twisted. Rage, humiliation, panic, all fighting for dominance. She marched up to me, finger stabbing the air. You're dead, Ethan. You hear me? You're F*********** ing dead. I didn't flinch. Didn't blink. Go cry to Brad, I said. Maybe he can afford your next pair of heels after you get fired. Jessica screamed, an actual, animal scream, and slapped me across the face. The crack echoed across the street. Gasps from the neighbors. Phones recording. Good. Let the world see every disgusting piece of her. I turned, calmly, and walked back inside, locking the door behind me. Through the window, I watched her kick the trash bags, shrieking like a lunatic, before finally collapsing onto the lawn, fist pounding the grass. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I didn't feel sorry for her. Not even a little. She threw away a man who would have moved mountains for her. Now she could drown in the rubble of her own making. And me? I wasn't broken anymore. I was just getting started. I knew Jessica wouldn't crawl away quietly. She wasn't built that way. She wasn't the type to admit defeat. She was the type to set the whole damn world on fire if she couldn't have her way. 2 days after the lawn incident, I came home from work to find an official-looking envelope taped to my front door. Inside, a restraining order, filed by Jessica, claimed I was violent, unstable, threatening. I actually laughed out loud standing on my porch. It was desperate, pathetic. Classic Jessica, if you can't win, lie louder. She tried to paint me as some monster while she played the poor, fragile victim. It would have been funny if it hadn't been so disgusting. The next day, the real fun began. I got served with divorce papers. In them, she demanded spousal support, half of everything I owned, and get this, full custody of the kids she lied to me about. I sat at my kitchen table, the papers spread out in front of me, feeling the familiar burn of betrayal clawing up my spine. She really thought she could destroy me, steal from me, and still come out the winner. She really thought the world owed her something. Well, she picked the wrong man to play games with. I called my lawyer, the best divorce attorney in the state. Didn't even blink at the retainer fee. I'd sell my damn truck if I had to. Anything to make sure Jessica got exactly what she deserved. Nothing. Together, we built the case. The paternity tests. The hidden camera footage. The restraining order full of lies, easily disproved by my clean record and character witnesses from half the damn town. We dotted every I, crossed every T, prepared for war. Meanwhile, Jessica kept trying to bait me. Late-night texts. Drunken voicemails. Showing up at my job pretending to be scared of me. She even tried to show up at my house wearing a tight dress and crocodile tears, pretending she missed me and just wanted to talk. Probably her last-ditch effort before the walls completely closed in. I didn't even open the door. I just watched from the window as she pounded on the glass, smearing her fake mascara-stained tears all over it. Neighbors filmed it, posted it online. Jessica's meltdown went viral. Poetic justice, delivered by karma itself. Every time she tried to hurt me, she only dug her grave deeper. When our first court hearing finally rolled around, she walked in with her new boy toy, Brad, clinging to her arm like some overgrown pet. The judge barely glanced at them before turning his attention to the mountain of evidence we brought. It wasn't even a contest. Jessica's lies unraveled like a cheap sweater. Every video, every test result, every message she sent threatening me. The courtroom was dead silent when my lawyer played the final clip, Jessica bragging to one of her friends about milking Ethan dry before trading up. I didn't even have to say a word. Her own voice condemned her. By the end of it, the judge slammed the gavel and ruled. Divorce granted. No spousal support. No claim to my assets. No custody. Jessica stood there, stunned, like the ground had just been ripped out from under her. She mumbled something about appealing, but even her lawyer looked like he was ready to jump ship. I walked out of that courtroom lighter than I had in years. No ring. No lies. No deadweight dragging me under. Jessica wanted a war? She got a massacre. And me? I was just getting my life back. Freedom tasted different than I expected. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't satisfying. It was heavy. Like standing on the edge of a cliff after surviving a storm, alive, but battered, scarred in places no one could see. I moved into a small apartment on the other side of town. No more big house. No more memories. Just four plain walls and silence that didn't mock me every time I breathed. The first few weeks were brutal. I'd catch myself reaching for my phone to text her about stupid things, funny memes, grocery lists, shows we used to binge. Then reality would slam into my chest like a sledgehammer. There was no we anymore. There never really had been. I threw myself into work. Long hours. Late nights. Anything to stay busy enough not to feel the gaping hole she left behind. Little by little, the pieces started fitting together again. I hit the gym. Reconnected with old friends I had drifted away from while trying to please Jessica. Started sleeping better. Eating better. Thinking clearer. I wasn't the same man who begged her for attention. I wasn't the fool who believed every fake tear she cried. I was rebuilding. Stronger. Smarter. But just when I thought I was finally free of her, Jessica found one last knife to drive into my back. It started with a text from an unknown number. Simple. Cruel. Better get tested, champ. Might be carrying a little gift from our marriage. My stomach dropped. I reread it a dozen times, hoping, praying, it was a prank. But deep down, I knew. Jessica was never the type to walk away quietly. Panic clawed at my chest as I made the call. Scheduled every test they had. Blood work. Swabs. Everything. The waiting was the worst part. 3 days of pacing my tiny apartment like a caged animal, spiraling through every possible nightmare. When the doctor finally called, his voice was calm. Too calm. Mr. Carter, we need to talk about your results. The words blurred after that. Positive. Treatable, but permanent. Jessica's final middle finger as she burned the bridge between us to ash. I hung up, numb, staring at the wall, feeling like the floor had vanished beneath me. She hadn't just broken my heart. She had poisoned the future. Left a scar that no amount of moving on could erase. I wanted to scream. Break something. Punch a hole straight through the world. Instead, I sat there, silent, letting the pain settle into my bones. Heavy, permanent, but not paralyzing. Not anymore. Jessica wanted to ruin me. She wanted me broken, bitter, crushed under the weight of everything she'd done. I wasn't going to give her that satisfaction. I wasn't going to live in the wreckage she left behind. I wasn't going to be the man she tried to destroy. I was going to be the man who survived her. I picked up my phone, blocked her number for good, deleted every photo, every text, every trace of her existence. Jessica Carter was dead to me now. And whatever came next, whatever battles, scars, or storms, I would face them as my own man. Unchained, unbroken, unfinished. Because the worst thing she ever did wasn't betraying me. It was making me realize that I didn't need her at all. And that was a gift she never meant to give. Months passed. The seasons changed. And piece by piece, so did I. The bitterness faded first, like an old wound that still ached on rainy days but no longer bled. I stopped waking up angry. Stopped dreaming about what I lost. Started focusing on what I still had. My pride. My strength. My future. For once, my life was mine. Unapologetically mine. And just when I thought Jessica was finally a ghost buried in the past, life threw her back in my path one last time. It happened on a cold Saturday afternoon. I was grabbing coffee downtown, bundled up against the wind, thinking about nothing but the warmth of a strong latte. That's when I saw her. Jessica, standing by a parking meter, fumbling with her phone, looking smaller somehow. Cheaper. The gleam was gone. Her face, once so full of arrogance, now sagged with desperation and hard living. Brad wasn't with her. No flashy car. No entourage. Just Jessica. Alone. Lost. She spotted me. Her eyes widened. She hesitated, just a heartbeat, then plastered on a weak version of her old fake smile and started toward me. I stood my ground. Didn't move. Didn't flinch. Hey, Ethan, she said, voice soft, almost brittle, as if the hurricane she unleashed could be smoothed over with a casual greeting. I said nothing, just stared at her, letting the silence stretch until she fidgeted under its weight. She laughed, a sad, hollow sound. Guess I deserve that. I still didn't speak. Didn't know her that much. I heard you moved on, she said, twirling a cheap bracelet around her wrist. New job. New place. Must be nice. It wasn't a compliment. It was jealousy. Bitterness. Regret. Jessica wanted me broken, not better. And seeing me whole? It gutted her. Good. You look good, she added, voice trembling like she hated every word. Better than before. Still, I stayed silent. Because what was there to say? Congratulations on ruining your life? Good luck finding someone else dumb enough to believe your lies? She shuffled closer, lowering her voice like we shared a secret. I miss you sometimes, she whispered. I think about what we had. I finally spoke. Low. Calm. Unforgiving. You think about what you destroyed, I said. Not what you had. She winced like I slapped her. Good. It was the least she deserved. Jessica blinked fast, as if fighting tears, but I wasn't moved. I remembered every lie. Every betrayal. Every night she chose someone else over the vows we made. You know, she said, voice cracking, I thought you'd hate me forever. I don't, I said simply. I just don't care anymore. That broke her. I saw it. Saw the exact moment the last flicker of hope died in her eyes. Jessica nodded slowly, lips trembling. Then she turned and walked away. No dramatic speeches. No begging. Just a broken woman stumbling through the ruins she built with her own hands. I watched her disappear into the crowd, feeling lighter than I ever had. No anger. No sadness. Just freedom. She was a chapter one had closed. A lesson I had learned the hard way. And as I walked back to my car, coffee in hand, head held high, I realized something powerful. I didn't just survive Jessica. I outgrew her. And no betrayal, no scar, no whispered rumor could ever take that away from me. Not now. Not ever. When you survive a betrayal like that, people expect you to become cold, bitter, closed off. Some men do. Some never trust again. Some spend the rest of their lives looking over their shoulders, afraid of getting gutted a second time. I get it. I really do. But that wasn't the road I chose. Jessica didn't destroy me. She revealed me. She ripped away the illusions I wrapped myself in, the comfort, the excuses, the blind faith, and forced me to face who I really was. I learned that love without respect is just a leash. That loyalty given to the wrong person is like pouring water into a broken glass. No matter how much you give, it'll never be enough. I learned to listen to actions, not words. Anyone can say they love you. Anyone can cry, beg, swear they'll change. But real love shows up. It stays. It doesn't need excuses or second chances or hidden cameras to reveal itself. I learned that betrayal doesn't define you. What you do afterward does. I rebuilt my life from the ashes Jessica left behind. And let me tell you something, it's better than anything I ever had with her. Because it's real. It's mine. Built on scars, yes, but also on strength I never knew I had. I don't hate her anymore. She's just a cautionary tale now. A name I barely think about. A ghost who haunts no one but herself. The hardest part wasn't letting her go. It was forgiving myself. Forgiving myself for not seeing the signs. For believing the lies. For loving someone who never deserved it. If you're a man reading this, if you're standing where I stood, staring at the shattered pieces of your heart, wondering how you'll ever feel whole again, listen to me carefully. You will. You will survive. You will heal. You will rebuild. And one day, you'll wake up, and her name won't be the first thought in your mind. Her betrayal won't be the fire burning in your chest. You'll look in the mirror and see a man stronger, wiser, and freer than you ever were with her dragging you down. One day, you'll be grateful she showed her true colors. Because it saved you from wasting even one more minute on someone who was never worth it. Pain is a hell of a teacher. But survival, true survival, that's the reward. Don't lose yourself trying to understand why she did it. It doesn't matter. Her brokenness isn't your responsibility. Her choices aren't your reflection. Walk away. Hold your head high. Let her drown in the lies she chose. You keep building. You keep living. You keep loving. When the right person comes along, someone who won't make you doubt your worth for a second. I don't regret loving Jessica. I regret thinking she was worthy of it. There's a difference. A big one. Now, I live by one rule. Never beg someone to love you. If they need convincing, you already have your answer. You deserve loyalty. You deserve truth. You deserve someone who would rather fight for you than against you. Don't ever settle for less. Because the moment you do, you're not loving them. You're betraying yourself. And that's the only betrayal you'll never walk away from whole.